Today we are learning about question marks, and this is your Edumacation. Here's a question mark, and what do I do? Put it after a sentence that asks something of you. Like, where is my shoe? And, do you like stew? Or, is your name Lou? And, does 1 + 1 = 2? The question mark, also known as the asker, the wonderer, and the note of interrogation, is represented today by this symbol. However, what first stood in place of the question mark was the Latin word quaestio, which means question. The entire word would be placed after a text that asked something. As time went on, quaestio shortened to QO, to simply Q, then Q with a period under it, and then the Arabic numeral 2 was used with a period under it, which evolved to what we have today. Question marks are generally reserved for sentences that begin with who, what, where, when, why, and how. So the basic rule of thumb is that if your text is asking a question of someone or something that requires some form of response, you may use a question mark. The most common mistake made in misusing question marks is using it with indirect questions. For indirect questions or requests, use a period, not a question mark. For example, you may say, I wonder if he's going to the store today. Although it sounds like a question, you just put a period. You might also say, would you take notes in the meeting today? Although these sentences sound like questions, they do not require the punctuation mark. For a question within a larger sentence, the question mark takes the place of the comma. So you may write, will they ever stop fighting? The mother wondered as the siblings glared at each other. No comma is needed between the thought or dialogue and the description. Overall, question marks are more accepted in academic papers than exclamation marks. They are used pretty widely in fiction and nonfiction writing. As long as the sentence is asking a question, putting that mark at the end of the thought is a good rule of thumb. In fact, colloquialization, a term that marks more speech-like habits in writing, causes more engagement and accessibility of writing to the general reader, and this has caused an increased usage of the question mark, especially in fiction and personal writing. So don't be afraid to use it. Alright writers, get out there and start writing. This has been your Edumacation. Why did I say that was bad.
Am I zooming back
No
out?
one will watch these, Hayley.